Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie, I am from Austria and I'm currently sick. Hello, I am so glad you could join me once again. Yes, it is true. I have caught a cold over the weekend and have been staying at home for the past few days because I'm just not feeling particularly great. But I thought, as a little cheer me up, I would talk to you about some knitting trends that I saw and have been popping up on my Instagram page, and we can just have a little chat. So go and grab your knitting, grab yourself a drink. I've got my massive mug here with some Yorkshire tea with milk, and let's talk about some stuff. So I have noticed a few things over the past few weeks, and the first trend that has been kind of popping up and coming back are stripes. Specifically, I like to call them micro stripes. Stripes is something that has never really gone out of fashion, in my opinion. I personally like stripes. I don't really enjoy making them because I am a perfectionist and I want it to look as clean as possible. I'm also currently working on my sibling sweater by Penrose Knits, and that one is a stripy pattern. I really enjoyed working on this, but what I'm referring to are smaller stripes and a bigger quantity of them in a garment. I found a lot of different projects and patterns. Quite a lot of them are still in testing, etc., but they have been popping up quite often now. It's stripes that have a really small repeat. I won't be participating in this trend or any of these trends, I have to say. For this one, stripes in particular, as I mentioned, I don't like when they don't match up. I want the stripes to be as clean looking as possible, and I think it's very difficult in a garment to achieve that when you only have such a small repeat or color change, should I say. So a lot of the times the stripes are only 2 to 4, maybe 6 rows long. Yes, long. And for me it's just a bit too busy. I also think it looks quite childlike. That is, you know, just my opinion, and that is why it's not for me. I think the eye is drawn to too many places all at once, and it just reminds me of little kids shirts, and that is why it's not for me. I found a lot of patterns, especially Petite Knit has a few of those, and as we know, she is kind of a trend setter as per usual, so that is something that I won't touch as of right now. Maybe I will change my mind for any of those in the future, but right now I'm happy with my thicker, chunkier stripes, and even then even with them I won't have that in my rotation in projects very often. Another thing is for accessories, it's hoods. I think the, what is it called, Sophie hood, I think, from Petite Knit has set off this trend, but I do know that hoods and balaclavas have been around for a really long time. I think hoods don't really work with an outfit for me. I think they might be a great scrap buster, and stash buster if you have like odd quantities, so it's great for those projects. But to me, I think for kids it might be a little bit better suited, so I won't be making any of those. I've also heard from a few people that the Sophie hood in particular, it's a fairly quick knit, but it might sit on the head a little bit awkward. I heard that it's a little bit to the back of the head instead of the far front. I'm way better with just a hat and scarf. I think that also looks better to me. I don't like the feel of having my whole head engulfed, also because I have really long hair, and I don't like to have my hair all at the front. I get really warm and it's really annoying, so I will not touch that one anytime soon. And also with hoods, there are also a lot of those really thick brimmed hats. A lot of them are made with boucle yarn, and Petite Knit has made a version of this with her Oslo hat, but I've also seen My Favorite Things Knitwear make a pattern for this. It's essentially a hat with a really thick brim that is so big that it's over the whole of your forehead and a little bit longer. Most of them are made with, like I just said, boucle yarn, and then the other part of the hat can be made with some other yarn, a little bit smoother. From what I can tell, it's all knit up in stockinette. I don't really see the point for myself for making hats. I only have 2 hats. Both of them are store-bought, both of them are really old. One of them I think is now 7 or 8 years old. I bought that one when I was in Ireland. I still love it. I don't need any more than 2 hats, also because I know what I like and what works for me. I would like to knit a hat eventually, but right now I just don't have the use for it, and I would rather not make something where I put a lot of time and effort in when I already know I won't use it or wear it. So those thick brimmed hats, it makes the forehead look really long, and I think the shape is also not ideal from what I can see. I know a lot of people really like them, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on anyone here, I'm just saying that it is not for me. Since we are at accessories, what might become a really big trend and is kind of in the beginning right now are double folded shawls. In particular, the Laura Penrose just released a shawl pattern. I'm not sure if she called it a shawl or a scarf. To me, a scarf is something really small and the shawl is something bigger. What you do is you knit it, or at least from what I think how you do it. I've not really checked out the pattern, but I just saw it on Instagram here and there. You knit it in the round and it's colour work. I think that's a great introduction to colour work. On such a small circumference, it might not be the best to start out with, but if you want to get a little bit more experience, I think that would be great. Double folded shawls have been going around for a little while longer. In particular, I know Paula Strict has got a really popular one. Amy from Knits made one recently where you have tassels at the bottom and then you knit in the rounds to have a double layered shawl, and then at the other end you have like tassels once again. You knit it for a really long time, so you can really wrap it around your head. And that one is just a plain one without any color work or whatever, but I saw a lot of people are using that construction, and they incorporate color work, some really fun patterns, and use some really fun colors. I also won't be doing that because just the same reason as for hats, I have no use for really long shawls. I don't like wearing shawls because they annoy me when they slide down. My winter coat is like a puffer jacket, and so it's a very slippery material, and it just annoys the heck out of me. So I'm not wearing any shawls in winter. I'm only wearing this scarf just because it sits on my neck really tightly. It's very small and compact, and when I zip up the jacket, it is underneath it instead of on top of it. I have so many shawls in my wardrobe, not any knitted ones, just ones that I either bought a long time ago or that were gifts, and I don't wear any of them, so I don't really see why this would be useful in my wardrobe. But like I said, you can have a lot of fun with this one. You can make really nice and fun color combinations for the patterns, etc. And one of them is in testing right now, so one isn't released yet, but that is something that has potential to get a lot bigger, and that other designers will also try their hands on something like that. The next one might not be a trend anymore, or it might not even have been a trend at all. It's just something that has been on my For You page, maybe, I don't know, but it is a vest that you can button up. Petite Knit, of course, has a vest pattern like that with a nice button band at the front. She doesn't wear a t-shirt underneath, so it's just the vest as the whole top, as if you would wear like a tank top. I've also seen variations where you button them at the side, but most of them are at the front. It looks really cool. I just don't think it's super practical for me. I don't like wearing my wool next to skin. I always have a t-shirt underneath. I like them as a layering piece. If I make a t-shirt or something that is next to skin, I prefer some cotton yarn or something that doesn't itch, because I am very sensitive, especially around my neck and chest area. So vests for me are, like I said, a layering piece and not something that I would wear purely on its own. But I do see the appeal of it. I do see why people would want it as a single layering piece. It looks really fancy. It elevates an outfit really, really well. Because you have already the knitwear incorporated to the style, and I think if you had some suit trousers on and then this vest as the main focus of the outfit, with maybe a really fun colour like Petite Knit's in a really nice green, I think is hers. I might be wrong on this, but from what I remember it was a green vest. Then I think it can really tie the outfit together, and you, I don't know, maybe are not too warm, and just throw over a jean jacket or a leather jacket, maybe even a coat. I don't know how you would style it in your style. But that's something I like the look of, but it's just not for me. Maybe the one, the slip over with the button on the side where you can actually wear something underneath it, but definitely not as a single piece. It's a trend-ish. It's just always coming back because it's season appropriate, and that is pastel colours. Every year when March rolls around, you get new different colours from different brands as new releases. Maybe there are some coming back, I'm not entirely sure, but everyone just fancies those really nice washed out watercolory colours. it's just not working for my complexion. I like the look of it, and I'm really happy when someone else likes to use that type of colour, but I know that it's not for me. I am a warm autumn. That means that I have to, or the best colours that, or the colours that suit me the best are some really rich and deep ones, like emerald green, marine blue, a really nice dark red, but also a lot of yellows, a lot of off-whites. Those are the colours that work for me, and my hair colour and my skin tone, etc. And pastels are not in that palette included because it washes out my skin. I have very fair skin, so it would look really dull if I had any garment like that. I do have one, it's a light lavender colour. I made that cardigan when I didn't really know about my colour theory. But ever since I found out about it, whenever I wear this one, I always question if I look too white, too fair skin, too bluish with the undertone. I'm not sure if I'm just getting in my head. But pastel colours are having a comeback, and I totally get it. It is the spring vibe, because everything is coming back. You have a lot of like lime green, really nice light pinks, buttery oranges and yellows, but it's just not for me. I can't wear this. I also wouldn't know where I would include them, in what garment, and I'm really happy for the people, like I said, to wear this, but sadly no wool manufacturer will be making any money with me for those colour palettes. And the last trend that I have is really chunky and oversized knits. This one also has been going around for a long time. It's not something super new, but I see it more and more often. It's super oversized sweaters and garments knit in a really chunky weight yarn. I see why people are drawn to this, also because it's a quicker knit if you work on really chunky needles with really thick yarn. But I have tried it, I have been there, trust me. When I started out knitting, I used some really thick yarn as one of my first projects. I think I used 7 or 8mm needles, and I did not enjoy it. It really hurt my wrist, and it almost made me give up on knitting, just because it was so enjoyable to work with the yarn, and the garment became so heavy that I also did not wear it once. A lot of those sweaters have some really intricate designs, like cables or like faux cables, crisscrosses, braids, etc. They all look really good, but I think just from like looking at it, it must be super heavy to wear. That is always my concern, and with the super oversized sweaters, it's also difficult to put under a coat. I am wearing my most oversized sweater, my sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. As you can tell, it is very oversized. My armpit is here. I have a lot of like extra fabric floating around, and I even struggle with this sweater to put it under a coat. That's why I don't wear this outside ever. It's my inside pullover, and I just can't imagine how anyone can wear anything on top of those sweaters. It's those really super oversized ones that I just can't get behind, that for the smallest size they already have a positive ease of like 20, 25, 30 centimeters of positive ease. To me, that is just too much. I don't see myself wearing something like that ever. Let me know if you get behind any of those trends, if you have knitted or wants to knit any of the things that I have mentioned, or if you do agree on some of the things I said. If not, that is totally fine. Like I said, I'm not hating on anyone, this is just my opinion, and I wanted to give you an insight into what I would like to knit or not to knit, that has been floating around in the knitting community at the moment. I hope you had a good time. Leave a comment and a like if you did. I will be talking more about some knitting things in my podcast as per usual. I hope I will see you there, and until then, stay safe, stay healthy, or get healthy in my case, and I'm gonna see you next time. Bye!